amplifier effect. Anybody heard of this? Basically what Metcalfe postulated about a decade ago was this, very simple. He said the value of the network is equivalent to the square of the number of endpoints. I'll say that again. The value of the network is equivalent to the square of the number of endpoints. If you've got two people talking to one another, it's a value of 4, okay? 200,000, that's 2 times 10 to the power 12, I think it is. You get my point. And that's exactly what's been going on with the internet. We've had 1.5 billion people on the internet. We've got 5 billion people on the mobile phones. You've got telephones, you've got iPad, and they're all getting connected. And as they get all connected, it's that much more important that we're more connected, because we can do so much more things. Take traffic lights. If we can connect all the traffic lights, think probably what we can do with them. Now the interesting thing here is how it all builds on one another. Let me give an example. 250 million people today. 250 million people on a smartphone are accessing a community on Facebook using, in some cases, video with applications that are all in the cloud. Take WebEx for online conferencing, right? You download the app for free, you go into and you can do it on your mobile phone or your iPad. You can get into your work community. It can be customers, it can be projects, it can be whatever it is. You can have HD quality video live, you can see anybody on the meeting, and there's not one piece of metal on any company other than Cisco's, because it's a complete cloud-based service, and there are many, many examples of this. And I think you're getting the drift in terms of this transition. These each and of themselves are mega trends. They are massive. This, by the way, this alone today is recognized globally as representing 2% of GDP globally. The mobile industry alone is 2%. It's massive. That's massive. With 700 more people on that than on what's the three most populated countries on Earth, and you know, I can go on. Put them together, and ladies and gentlemen, we've got a massive transformation going on as we speak. That's what's going on to a lot of businesses. Here's what's going on to retail. Harvey Norman woke up. Yes, there's an internet. Yes, people have got mobile phones. You know, I was talking to the CIO of the Apparel Group. Anybody heard of Apparel? Sportscraft, the ladies will know. Sportscraft, their other one is Sabre, I think is their brand. They've got 450 branches. So they decided to they're actually quite a progressive Australian company in terms of retail. 450 branches, they started putting Sportscraft on it. Do you know what is their biggest branch right now? Their #1 selling branch is their online branch. Sabre went on 6 months ago, it's already their 3rd biggest branch. That's in Australia now. It's really hard, think about it, it's really hard to sell clothes online. That's a really hard one. It's much easier to sell PCs and cameras and that sort of stuff online. Clothes are hard. And look at their numbers already. And look at what's going on here. And we're going to catch up, and we have to catch up in Australia with what's going on around the world. Now, everything I've been saying sounds like this has just been an IT thing. And it's just been, you know, Cisco talking to CIOs and IT geeks and so on, but it's not. A lot of senior executives get it. This is a survey, it came out in October 2010 from IBM. Survey CEOs, right? CEOs of major businesses around the globe. And notice from 2004 to 2010 what happened. Technology is now seen as the number two, most important external force to their business. And it doesn't matter whether you're government, whether you're retail, whether you're in 3D analysis, CEOs get it. And they get the fact that this thing called technology and IT is now crept right up to be front and center in terms of what's going to make or break that company. And for those that have ignored them, they're probably either out of business or they're going out of business. It's those CEOs that get this, that are thriving, that are driving, and that are moving forward. So it's right at the top. You know, look here. Guys, we're a bank, yeah, but banks today are more threatened by eBay and what's going on online than they are about NAB in this case. In fact, the guy from NAB even said that. You know, he reckons his biggest competitor is Google, Apple, and eBay. You'd say, go home. It's true. They get it at the board level. So let's talk about the new workspace. I'm not going to talk about that, I'm not an architect, but I thought, I saw it. I won't tell you what I saw. It's weird. So what's going on? Things are changing. And I put this slide up because I don't know where each of you come from or what your particular roles are, but I'll bet you that in every company this covers all kinds of people, right? You've definitely got some people working for you. You've got partners that you work with in business. You've got customers, hopefully, and you've got some sort of leadership. And that generally covers most people in an organisation. So let's sort of pull this down, because when we talk about collaboration, I'm talking to a customer, it really is important to understand, who am I talking to? Is it the boss? Because his requirements are going to be quite different to this 22-year-old over here. Okay, so let's now take you through that. There are more Gen Ys, right, than there are baby boomers. And I don't know how many of you got kids, but these guys come to work with a certain expectation. They get more compute at home than they get at work in many cases. And they can do more things on Facebook than they can do on your email or your internet system. They are doing more powerful things with Google Plus today than you guys have even thought of yet. Right? It's intuitive, it's part of life, it's part of their connectivity. I'll never forget the time when I was reading the paper and there was this incident in the Cross. You remember the young lady who did that whole spoof? And I'm reading it, and Sunday morning, reading the paper, my son comes downstairs, it's 9 Sunday morning, and I said, "Hey Dave, have you seen this?" He said, "Yeah, Dad, I saw that Thursday night." Okay, then bad enough, keep the kid down. My daughter comes down an hour later. I said, "Hey Valesca, have you seen this?" She said, "Yeah, Dad, I saw that Wednesday morning." These guys don't read papers. They're online. Okay, it's all online. Now when they come to work, the expectation is the same. And the issue with this is these guys have also got a cultural instinct of where they want to work. And if you, as a company, don't offer them some of these capabilities, they're going to go elsewhere. Right now in the Australian job market, that's a bit of a problem because it's a buyer's market. So that's a big issue. Partners. Interesting, when you talk to people in companies, say, who's the smart people in your company? Where do you get your ideas from? And I'll say, Joe in marketing, or somebody in engineering, or somebody in HR, whatever. Truth be told, most of the people don't work for you. The question you've got to ask yourself, in your companies, how do you connect with those intellectuals, those people with good ideas outside of your company? Because that is a huge source of information in terms of what you need going forward. And of course, what's going on online is massive. If you look at call centers, whereas in the past, when you called a call center, there were 2 forms of communication. Phone call, email. That was it. Today, it's not just text, but it's all forms of social media. Do you know what's going on about your company on Facebook? Take a look. People are talking about you. Are you listening to that? Are you responding to it? Because those companies, we've got some really good statistics on this, those companies within their call centers that are looking, by the way, it's the same process. It's the same process. How you receive voice, how you receive data is very much the same sort of work process that you need in terms of monitoring, all the social media. Dell's a great example. I don't know if you know the story of Michael Dell. Dell was in the toilet. They pulled him back, said, "Michael, better get back in here." It was 2007, January, because Dell was in such strife. And he came in, and he recognised the fact that Dell was not listening to what's going on outside. They were just introverted. He took 42 people, and he said, "Stop what you're doing. All you're going to do now is monitor wikis, blogs, all Web 2.0. And that's all you're going to do." And he turned the company around. Within 6 months, they were starting to go back on track again. And has had substantial, many quarters of profit and growth, etc. Because he recognised that you've got to listen beyond your company, beyond the impervious layers within your company, your organisation. And this is true. Anybody used Amazon iBook and then it comes back and tells you, "Hey, you bought this book, you probably..." Well, it's going to happen to everything. Every time you buy things, we're massively, as a country and as a world, going online to buy stuff. I was in the States a couple of months, buying a camera, standing next to a lady who's buying the same sort of camera. She pulls out her little Google Doc. Have you seen it? Google goggles. Takes a picture. Goes up. I would do the demonstration because it works here. Download Google Goggle. Take a picture. Goes up. Comes down. Tells you prices, who to buy it from, in order. Goes to the attendant and says, "Mate, I can get this for $250, this says $350, got to match it? He says, yeah, okay. Pretty serious. Now then, there's this also thing called check-in. So it's all happening. It's coming towards you. Every time you click, somebody's going to be watching you. And of course, it's about productivity. Because we, as one of the guys that says, we squeeze the toothpaste tube in terms of how much we can get out of people to computer, productivity. Now it's about people. How do we get more out of the human beings in our organisation, and if we're smart, other organisations? Lovely story, Craigslist. Anybody heard of Craigslist? Classifieds? You know, Craigslist has been around for about 7 years. They are blamed by the US economy for ripping $30 billion out of the newspaper industry. You know how many people he's got working for him? 100. Right? 100. There's Craigslist here as well. So it's about productivity. And it's a pretty serious initiative. And any CEO, CIO does not embrace technology and what it can do in terms of people productivity is, again, missing the game. Here you go. Again, the IBM survey. CEOs get it and they recognise that fostering collaboration and knowledge sharing is absolutely imperative, and they're doing a poor job, generally speaking. We, the industry, are doing a poor job in getting our people collaborating. So it's all about this. It's about attention, and indeed, it's about return on attention. Return on attention of your staff, of your partners, of the people who work for you, and of your customers, because we're all in this together. There's a fire hydrant of stuff coming at us. I was talking to somebody yesterday. He said, do you use your RSS feeds? Yeah, I do. My problem is, even when you tweak your RSS feeds and you're on Twitter and so on, there's so much coming at you, right? So you as a vendor, or as a government organisation who are trying to get people's attention, they've got to really think about this, because whoever's at the other end is getting a fire hydrant of stuff coming at them. So I'm not here to talk about products. I just want to share with you, this has been our journey in terms of our products, very wide, IP communication, messaging, customer care, conferencing, all this stuff. Basically, the basic tenet of what we're doing has gone in 3 phases. And here's what they were. Connect, bring people together. This is when we sort of said, you know what? Why have 2 networks for voice and data? Let's bring them together. Okay, convergence. The second phase was about communicating, getting people on phones, on PCs, communicating. Now it's about collaboration. And collaboration kicks in much more than just, the voice communications between us. It's about truly operating in a virtual world where you need not be next to one another, where you need not be in, the same geographical location. That's what it's about, and that's where, some of this is heading. And of course, everything that I'm talking about, every piece of gear that you buy from us is going into the cloud. Why? Because that's the way the market's moving. People are moving from a fixed cost to a variable cost acquisition or consumption cycle. And we recognise that, so we're taking everything we're doing that you can buy today and saying you can buy it as a service through our partners. The next, voice. The little V, for those of you engineers, voice is actually, people think it's really easy. You get an analog signal with 2 wires, E&M signaling is really simple. And it's really simple when you only got a few people to talk to. Then you kick it up to 10,000, maybe 100,000, maybe 10 million, and it becomes really, really complicated. Well, now we've played that through in the last 2 or 3 decades. Voice is really easy, it's indeed free. The next frontier is video. And the reason the next frontier is video is A, because we can, technically, and B, because human beings, somebody from Microsoft once said to me, very clever, he